Have you ever wondered about an accessible and effective vitamin that can significantly impact your mobility after 70? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? But it's true. Let me tell you a story. Recently, I met Evgeny, a 75-year-old man who used to walk hunched over, taking short and slow steps. Every time he went for a walk, he returned tired, with knee pains and a feeling that his legs no longer obeyed him as before. Everything changed after his doctor recommended a
Thank you,
simple and
doctor.
inexpensive
I
vitamin
feel
that
better
became a
already.
breakthrough in his life. 3 weeks later, Evgeny happily informed me that he had partially regained mobility. He doesn't participate in marathons, but now he easily climbs stairs without stopping, moves without feeling heavy, and most importantly, feels independent again. This happened not only to him. Research conducted among the elderly showed that this vitamin helps maintain balance, muscle strength, and bone health. People who take it
Haven't seen
regularly
you in
notice a
ages.
decrease in
What's
stumbling
new?
and fatigue. They move
Not
more
much,
easily
just
and become
enjoying
more
the beautiful
confident. The
weather.
most surprising thing is that it is not about an expensive drug or some magical supplement from the internet. This simple remedy is accessible to everyone, and most likely you already have it at home or can buy it cheaper than a regular loaf of bread. This vitamin can help you move more freely, regain strength, and reduce pain in your legs. This is not fiction, but a result of scientific research. If you are over 70, this advice may be one of the most useful you hear today, so pay attention to it. We will discuss how to maintain balance, strengthen muscles and bones, and walk confidently without spending extra resources. Before we continue, I am curious to know where you are listening from. Please write your country. Let's share useful information with each other. I send you a strong hug, wherever you are. I sincerely wish you only happiness. I read every comment and tried to respond to them, offering specific recommendations for your situation. Your feedback inspires me to create more useful content that helps maintain health and improve quality of life. The main benefit of this vitamin is supporting muscles and enhancing endurance. In elderly people, one of the most noticeable effects is an increase in muscle strength, which many mistakenly believe is only lost with age. However, muscle condition is influenced not only by years, but also by a lack of essential nutrients needed for their normal functioning. The vitamin we are discussing plays a key role in protein synthesis. No special medical knowledge is required to understand the importance of this process. Imagine muscles as a complex structure that needs constant care. Every time you climb the stairs, take a step, or get up from a chair, muscle fibers are activated that wear out over time. To maintain their health, the body requires a constant synthesis of new proteins, where this vitamin plays a key role. He is also responsible for muscle contractions. Have you noticed how your legs start to tremble involuntarily during physical exertion? Often, fatigue or a decrease in strength during activity is associated with a deficiency of a certain vitamin that directly participates in the transmission of signals to the muscles, ensuring proper contraction. Imagine Galina, a 72-year-old woman who just a few months ago struggled to move around her home. Even climbing a few steps left her breathless. Her legs ached, and she increasingly relied on the help of her loved ones. The doctor advised her to check her vitamin levels and take it regularly. A month later, Galina could walk down the corridor without difficulty and even go shopping with her granddaughter. The most touching moment for her was the realization: I feel like I am in control of my body again. Being in good physical shape means not only being able to move, but also feeling confidence, freedom, and independence, getting up without assistance, and not fearing to fall. If you notice quick fatigue or decreased energy, the cause may not only be age. Your body may signal a lack of support that you have not yet realized. However, there is good news. Getting the necessary help is easier and more accessible than you think. The second important aspect of this vitamin is its ability to reduce joint pain and counteract inflammation. As people age, many experience constant pain in their knees, hips, or ankles, feelings of stiffness in the mornings, and difficulties taking the first steps after sleep. You have probably experienced this too. An unpleasant click heard when climbing stairs or bending down is often perceived as an inevitable sign of aging, but this is not always the case. The vitamin in question has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. How does it work? Its mechanism involves regulating the immune system and reducing the production of special substances called cytokines. When their levels become too high, it leads to chronic inflammation in the joints. Such inflammation irritates the tissues, hindering the movement of areas that should function freely and causing pain during movement. Moreover, this vitamin plays an important role in regulating calcium levels in the body, a mineral that not only strengthens bones, but also is responsible for muscle contraction and the transmission of nerve impulses. If calcium accumulates where it shouldn't, like in the joints, it can lead to increased stiffness and pain. A vitamin helps direct calcium to the bones where it is needed, not in soft tissues. Let me tell you about Galena, a woman who had already celebrated her 80th birthday at the time of the events. Every morning she woke up with knees as immobile as stone. For her, getting out of bed had become a true challenge. Her son helped her to stand up, and only after a few minutes could she take her first steps. The doctor advised her to take a certain vitamin daily and combine it with light stretching exercises. After a month, Galena noticed significant improvements. Now she didn't need so much time to get out of bed. The pain still remained, but it became much less pronounced and didn't interfere with her daily life. I get up almost instantly, not after an eternity, Evgeny remarked with a smile. This is the key moment. It's not about completely eliminating pain, but about moving more easily and feeling improvements each day. For maximum effect, it's recommended to combine vitamin intake with some physical activity. You don't have to run or lift heavy weights. It's enough to simply walk around the house, do some light morning stretches, or smoothly move your legs while sitting on a chair. Even such simple exercises contribute to better circulation, lubrication of the joints, and keeping the body toned. If you add a vitamin that works from within, reducing inflammation, noticeable changes may appear in just a few weeks. Another benefit is improved balance and coordination. If you have ever felt unsteady while climbing or noticed that you sway while walking, even when you are not tired, know that you are not alone. This condition is often observed in older adults. And the most important thing is that it is not just clumsiness or anemia. Often the true cause lies deeper. The problem lies in the connection between the brain, nerves, and muscles. The vitamin in question not only strengthens bones and alleviates joint conditions, but also plays a key role in neuromuscular health, meaning the response of muscles to signals from the nervous system. It facilitates the rapid and accurate transmission of electrical impulses from the brain to the legs, feet, and other muscles. However, a deficiency of this vitamin disrupts the connection. Muscles respond slowly, legs feel unstable. The brain poorly perceives information about the body's position, leading to instability. This condition is called proprioceptive disturbance and is one of the main causes of falls among the elderly. An example is Donald Fred, who began to notice that when he stood up, his body tilted to the side as if his legs had stopped responding adequately. It was not related to dizziness or weakness. He simply lost his sense of balance. His granddaughter bought him a supplement with the necessary vitamin, and they began to do a simple exercise together, lifting one leg for 5 seconds while holding onto the back of a chair. First one leg, then the other. After a month, the instability disappeared. He admitted, "My legs obey me again." Thanks to this vitamin, the nerves responsible for balance and reflexes begin to work better, and the body becomes more confident. Do you want to improve your balance at home? Every morning, stand next to a sturdy wall or chair and lift one leg, trying to stay in place for a few seconds. Then switch legs. This exercise activates the muscles responsible for stability and strengthens the connection between the feet and the brain. Ultimately, a confident step can be the decisive factor between an ordinary day and a fall that can change your life. And this vitamin is what can give you the necessary boost. Now let's focus on another important property. Do you often feel tired, even after a good sleep? If so, listen carefully. This vitamin helps combat fatigue, which is especially relevant for people over 70 years old. Age should not be seen as a signal of pain or weakness, but rather as a constant feeling of exhaustion. Sometimes it seems that the day starts without strength, and after a few steps, the legs become heavy, as if you are dragging weights behind you. This fatigue is often not related to poor sleep or illness. More often, it indicates that the body has stopped producing energy at its previous volume. In this situation, one vital vitamin comes to the rescue. It not only strengthens the body, but also helps derive energy from within. To better understand this, imagine that each cell in your body is a small power station. Inside her are mitochondria that are responsible for energy production. Their function is only possible with the necessary nutrients. This vitamin plays a key role in this process. Without it, energy is produced slowly, and the body begins to feel tired, as if you are trying to turn on a light bulb with a dead battery. When vitamin levels drop, the first symptoms are severe fatigue, even if you have slept well. It doesn't matter how good your sleep was or how well you ate. You get up and already feel a decline in strength. A little time passes, and you want to sit down again. However, regular consumption of this vitamin brings noticeable changes. Many begin to feel a surge of energy. This also happened to Galena, a 78-year-old woman. She shared that in the mornings her legs were heavy and immobile, like concrete columns. She had to sit on the edge of the bed, breathe deeply, and wait before heading to the kitchen. The granddaughter gave her a jar of this vitamin, and the situation improved significantly. The doctor advised taking it during breakfast. After a few weeks, Galina noticed her legs felt lighter, and her body woke up much faster every morning. Such reviews are often heard from elderly people who, not due to magic, but thanks to the action of vitamins, restore their energy. This happens because the cells begin to effectively produce life forces again. Practical advice: if you have decided to add this vitamin to your diet, it is better to do it in the morning, preferably during breakfast. Why in the morning? Because activating energy metabolism allows many to feel a surge of vitality a few hours after taking it. Starting the day with a vitamin will give you the necessary energy when you need more activity, whether it's physical exertion, a walk, or focused work. If you feel tired even after a full rest, perhaps your body needs not more sleep but quality nutrition. This vitamin can become an important source of vitality. Since we touched on the topic of activity and energy, it is worth considering how this vitamin contributes to strengthening bones and protecting one of the most important systems of our body, the skeleton. One of the main benefits of the vitamin is its ability to strengthen bones and prevent osteoporosis. For people over 70, one of the greatest fears is not only the risk of falls, but also the consequences that may follow, such as a hip fracture, complex surgery, loss of mobility, and even independence. Many do not realize that there is a simple and accessible way to reduce this risk and take care of bone health from within. When it comes to bone strength, comprehensive support for the body is important. Most people immediately think of calcium when it comes to bone health. Undoubtedly, calcium plays a primary role as it gives strength to bones. However, calcium alone is not enough without the necessary vitamin. Imagine a situation where you have bricks, but no cement to bind them. This vitamin can be compared to a transporter that delivers calcium to the right places, namely the bones, and not only carries it but also helps keep it in place, strengthening the internal structure. With age, there is a natural decrease in bone mass, which is part of the natural aging process. However, the main threat is not the small losses, but that due to significant thinning, the bones become porous and fragile. This process is called osteoporosis, a silent disease that develops unnoticed until one unfortunate situation changes everything. Remarkably, recent studies show that the right vitamin can significantly reduce the risk of fractures, especially among the elderly. In one of the studies conducted among people over 70, it was found that those who regularly took this vitamin for several months reduced hip fractures by 20% compared to those who did not use it. Although 20% may seem like a small number, when it comes to life-changing injuries, it is quite an impressive achievement. Nevertheless, as I often emphasize, no vitamin works alone. To keep bones strong, it's important to combine vitamin intake with physical activity without engaging in extreme sports. Moderate physical activities like walking, swimming, or yoga greatly contribute to maintaining bone health and strengthening the muscle corset, which reduces the risk of injuries. Caring for bone health requires a comprehensive approach that includes proper nutrition, appropriate supplements, and regular moderate physical activity. Active walking, climbing stairs, or balance exercises using your own weight are effective ways to maintain bone tissue recovery. Imagine that each confident step sends a signal to your bones that they need to stay strong. When the necessary vitamin is received, bones become stronger and more reliable. If you have noticed that bone strength decreases with age, experienced minor falls that caused pain, or want to prevent such problems, this vitamin will be your reliable ally, strengthening bones from within and protecting their invisible structure. Surely you are interested in how to obtain this vitamin, whether it is present in foods, and what its cost is. The good news is that there is no need to spend huge amounts of money or search for rare products to add this vitamin to your diet. It can be obtained in two main ways: naturally through food and sunlight, or with the help of dietary supplements. Both methods are acceptable and are sometimes combined to achieve the necessary level of vitamins. Foods rich in this vitamin include eggs, especially the yolk, liver, and fatty fish like sardines, salmon, and mackerel. The vitamin is also found in some fortified dairy products and certain types of mushrooms. If you regularly consume liver, you are on the right track. In addition, we have a free source of vitamin: the sun. Just 15 to 20 minutes of daily exposure to fresh air, preferably with bare arms and legs, is enough for the body to synthesize this vitamin on its own. Naturally, the effectiveness of this process depends on the time of day, season, and geographical location. In regions with a lack of sunny days in winter, this method is not always effective. If you often use sunscreen or rarely go outside, vitamin production significantly decreases. Therefore, many people over 70 prefer to use dietary supplements that are affordable and do not require significant spending on well-known brands or complex compositions. An ordinary bottle of pills often costs less than a cup of coffee a week and lasts about a month. For elderly people, a daily dose of 800 to 2,000 international units is recommended, which corresponds to 20 to 50 micrograms. It's best to start with a moderate dose and consult a doctor for adjustments if necessary, as some people with low vitamin levels may require a higher initial dose. When choosing a supplement, prefer forms that are easily absorbed, such as soft capsules or liquids, and don't forget to check for quality certification. Don't overpay for flashy packaging. The main thing is that the product actually works and is taken regularly. Remember that a vitamin cannot be absorbed all at once. Its effect accumulates gradually. These are simple, but very effective daily investments in your health. A small habit can significantly improve your posture, gait, and overall condition. It's good that this vitamin is available to almost everyone. All you need to do is plan your day a bit, spend a few minutes in the sun, diversify your diet, or buy an inexpensive supplement. It's all so simple, and yet greatly changes how you feel. However, before rushing to buy, it is important to consider one important point. Despite many advantages, this vitamin can cause undesirable reactions if misused or improperly dosed. We will discuss this in the next section dedicated to precautions and possible interactions. Previously, we have already seen how this vitamin can improve the quality of life after 70. It increases strength, reduces pain, improves balance, strengthens bones, and restores vitality. Nevertheless, as everywhere, caution is necessary here, as even the most useful and usually safe substance can have negative effects when used uncontrollably. The main advice before starting any supplements is simple but vital. It is necessary to take a blood test to determine the level of this vitamin and to ensure there is indeed a deficiency, as well as to find out how much is needed to normalize the levels. In elderly people, the level can vary significantly. Some receive it in sufficient quantities from the sun, others from food, and for some, the levels can be extremely low for various reasons. It is also important to consider which medications you take, as many elderly people regularly use medications. Some of them can interact with vitamins. For example, thiazide diuretics, often prescribed for high blood pressure, can increase calcium levels in the blood when used alongside vitamin supplements. This can lead to hypercalcemia, a condition accompanied by nausea, muscle weakness, and even kidney damage. One should be cautious with corticosteroids used to treat inflammatory processes or autoimmune diseases, as they can reduce vitamin effectiveness and increase the need for additional intake under medical supervision. How can one understand that the vitamin level is exceeded? Although overdose through food or sunlight is rare, prolonged and excessive intake of supplements can lead to excess. Minor manifestations of overdose may include loss of appetite, nausea, abdominal pain, constant thirst, and frequent urination. In more serious situations, kidney damage and heart failure are possible. Therefore, it is not recommended to start taking vitamins without consulting a doctor, especially if you are already taking other medications or have kidney, liver, or heart diseases. A specialist will select the correct dosage, suggest necessary examinations, and monitor the process to ensure that vitamin intake is safe and maximally effective. It's important to remember that increasing the vitamin dosage does not always mean better health. One must not perceive them as ordinary water, taking them thoughtlessly, since excess can be as dangerous as deficiency. If you decide to add vitamin supplements to your diet, do so consciously, following the recommendations of specialists and observing all precautions. Healthy habits, balanced nutrition, moderate physical activity, and quality rest play a key role in caring for health. It's not just about taking medication, but a comprehensive approach to maintaining the body. In conclusion, let's summarize. We discussed an available vitamin with remarkable properties that helps improve movement after 70, strengthening muscles. It serves as a foundation for maintaining balance and preventing falls. They also considered his ability to reduce pain in the joints and decrease inflammatory processes, especially in the knees and hips, where age-related changes are most noticeable. Furthermore, we focused on his role in the fight against fatigue. providing more energy for active movement and joy in life, as well as preventing feelings of exhaustion even after a short walk. It was then discovered that this vitamin is important for bone health, helping to prevent fractures by improving calcium absorption and increasing bone density. Finally, simple ways to obtain the vitamin were mentioned through sunlight exposure, proper nutrition, or taking affordable supplements. This is not a magic pill that will solve all problems, but a reliable assistant in maintaining an active lifestyle with the right diet, regular physical activity, and proper rest. It is truly amazing and changes perspectives on health. As an expert in lymphology with over 20 years of experience, I have repeatedly encountered situations where ignoring the condition of the lymphatic system led to serious complications. It all began seemingly with harmless symptoms: morning puffiness under the eyes, a feeling of fatigue and heaviness in the legs by evening, as well as a constant sense of being broken. Over time, such minor problems evolved into chronic diseases and sometimes led to irreversible health consequences. Working in government institutions and prestigious private clinics, I realized that lymph is the unnoticed guardian of our health. Only those who are willing to put their lives at risk can ignore the state of the lymphatic system. Today, I will explain why this system is more important than it seems and share simple yet effective ways to maintain its good condition. To begin with, it is important to understand what happens during lymphatic stagnation. Many of my patients wonder why they are constantly ill, gaining weight for no apparent reason, and feel constant fatigue. Often, the answer lies in the functioning of the lymphatic system. In our body, the amount of lymphatic fluid exceeds the volume of blood by 5 times. Moreover, there are significantly more lymphatic vessels, forming a protective network around each organ, ensuring the delivery of nutrients and the removal of waste. Unlike blood, which is pumped by the heart, lymph has no pump of its own. Its movement depends on muscle contractions, breathing activity, and even intestinal function. When these processes slow down and lymphatic flow decreases, it leads to stagnation and metabolic disturbances. When the lymphatic flow slows down, toxins, waste products, and harmful microorganisms begin to accumulate in the body. One patient comes to mind who suffered from allergies for a long time. After each cold episode, she developed a rash, and her lymph nodes swelled. As a result of a comprehensive examination, it was found that her lymphatic system was overloaded with chronic constipation and a sedentary lifestyle. Another case concerns a 45-year-old man diagnosed with stage 2 lymphedema. His legs were so swollen that they were hard to recognize, and the skin was covered with trophic ulcers. All of this happened due to years of inactivity and wearing tight shoes. Unfortunately, in such advanced cases, system recovery becomes extremely difficult, so preventive measures are of immense importance. How can one recognize lymph stagnation? The first alarming sign is a barely noticeable swelling. If after removing socks there is a noticeable mark on the skin, if rings start to squeeze the fingers by evening, or if weight changes by 2 to 3 kilograms without any reason, this may indicate a problem. One should not ignore the pillow marks on the face after sleep. They indicate a disruption in lymphatic drainage in the upper body, although this is just the beginning of the problem. Lymphatic stagnation leads to constant fatigue that even a 10-hour sleep cannot fix, as well as increased sweating with an unpleasant odor. When lymphatic drainage is disrupted, toxins are not expelled normally and exit through the skin. Joint and muscle pain arise without injury, and lactic acid accumulates. Additionally, lymph does not deliver immune cells to inflamed areas, slowing wound healing. The connection between lymphostasis and the risk of developing oncological diseases is particularly concerning. Over many years of practice, I have repeatedly observed that patients suffering from prolonged lymphatic stagnation develop tumors. Why does this happen? Lymph nodes act as filters where lymphocytes destroy atypical cells. When lymph fluid stagnates, waste accumulates in the body, creating conditions for mutations. Statistics are eloquent. The risk of developing cancer increases 3 to 4 times with chronic lymphostasis. But what slows down lymph movement? There are many reasons, and some of them you may not have heard of. The main one is a sedentary lifestyle, which seriously harms the lymphatic system. In the city clinic, I often see patients with swollen legs, varicose veins, and thrombophlebitis. The main mistake of these people is that even while doing special exercises for lymph in the morning, they spend many hours sitting during the day. This completely blocks the outflow of fluid from the lower limbs. Lymph moves thanks to muscle contractions, and without this activity, its flow decreases by almost 70%. Another reason is poor nutrition and excessive carbohydrate intake. A common misconception is that healthy green smoothies can offset the harm of regularly consuming pasta and sausages. In reality, excess simple sugars lead to hyperglycemia, and excess glucose settles in the lymph, making it thick and viscous. I remember a patient who drank parsley juice for a long time but did not give up sweet pastries for breakfast. Her lymph nodes became so blocked that even massage did not bring relief. The next problem is related to the contradiction between fashion and health. In private clinics, women come to me ready to pay for procedures but refuse to take off their shapewear. High heels shift the center of gravity, disrupting balance, while compression corsets press heavily on the lymphatic pathways in the groin and armpits. I was brought a box of magical bras that a woman wore for 18 hours a day. As a result, the lymph nodes under her armpits became inflamed and enlarged to the size of walnuts. The fourth important note concerns the harmful effects of smoking and alcohol. Tobacco smoke narrows the vessels of the lymphatic system, while resins make the lymph thick and viscous, like a dense stream. Even moderate alcohol consumption harms the liver, responsible for filtering toxins. If the liver cannot cope, poisons enter the lymph, overloading it. Now that we have realized the importance of activating lymph flow, I will talk about proven methods. Before moving on to the recipes, I want to emphasize that lymph cleansing should always begin with a consultation with a specialist. I have repeatedly observed cases where patients, unaware of liver cirrhosis or lymph node inflammation, began detoxing, only worsening their condition. What do I recommend based on 20 years of experience? First and foremost, I strongly advise a combination of licorice root and enterosorbents. 8 out of 10 of my patients begin treatment in this way. Licorice root gently promotes lymphatic flow, while an enterosorbent, such as Regel, binds toxins in the intestines, preventing them from re-entering the bloodstream. It is extremely important to dilute the licorice tincture with water in a 1:3 ratio, as otherwise it may cause high blood pressure. The treatment course lasts 7 days, after which a 2-week break is necessary. The effect can be noticed by the 3rd day. The swelling decreases and the feeling of heaviness in the head goes away. However, be prepared for possible temporary stomach upset. This is a sign of the active removal of harmful substances from the body. Secondly, herbal infusions of nettle, horsetail, and celandine are recommended. One should not trust advertisements about miraculous mixtures, as only 3 ingredients are enough to work with the lymph. Nettle accelerates lymph movement, while horsetail and celandine remove excess sodium, which is the main cause of swelling. Celandine additionally disinfects the intestines and facilitates the functioning of the lymphatic system. Mix the herbs in equal parts. Pour 1 tablespoon of this mixture with a glass of boiling water. Steep like tea and drink on an empty stomach in the morning. Some clinics recommend adding chamomile to reduce inflammation of the lymph nodes. It is important to remember that celandine is contraindicated during pregnancy and with stomach issues, so be sure to consult a doctor. The 3rd stage includes therapy with juices, which is important not only for obtaining vitamins, but also for the complete renewal of the body. The quality of juice matters more than its quantity. Tomato juice contains lycopene, which helps thin lymph, but it's better to consume it with a small pinch of salt to avoid losing potassium with sodium. Pomegranate juice is a powerful antioxidant, but is contraindicated in gastritis. I prefer green juices made from parsley, dill, and spinach, as they help normalize the body's acid-base balance. Lymph plays a critical role in stagnation in the body. It is recommended to consume 100 milliliters of juice in the morning, 30 minutes before meals, while avoiding excessive consumption. Juices should not be mixed with milk, as this reduces their beneficial properties. The 4th recipe is based on a combination of garlic, onions, and lemon to eliminate infectious residues in the body. This mixture is especially beneficial for those who frequently face illnesses. Garlic and onion are considered natural antibiotics that cleanse the organs of toxins released by bacteria, while lemon activates liver functions. To prepare the infusion, chop 1 head of garlic, 1 onion, and 1 lemon with the peel. Pour the mixture with a liter of milk and bring to a boil, then simmer for 10 minutes. Take 100 milliliters in the morning and evening. The appearance of diarrhea in the first few days is a normal reaction of the body, but if it persists for more than 3 days, the course should be stopped. It should be noted that this recipe is contraindicated for people with ulcers or pancreatitis. The 5th recipe belongs to Marva Granion and is called Herbal Assault. I slightly adapted its composition to suit modern conditions, as the original version may be too heavy for a weakened body. I recommend using 1 teaspoon of sage to calm the nervous system. Plantain and violet will help reduce inflammation, while rosehip and horsetail aid in the removal of salts. Pour 2 liters of boiling water and steep the mixture in a water bath for 15 minutes. Take 1 glass 3 times a day. The course should continue for 5 days, but by the 3rd day, you will feel improvement. The heaviness in your body will disappear. The 6th option includes the consumption of juices and is developed according to the recipe of Numakin, which provides real vitamin support. To prepare it, grapefruit, orange, and lemon juices are mixed in a ratio of 99:1. This composition guarantees a powerful therapeutic effect and helps strengthen health. Increasing the level of glutathione, the main antioxidant in the lymphatic system, improves overall well-being. However, this method is not recommended for people with diabetes and gastritis. Instead of melted and regular water, it is better to use purified water, as it has a gentler effect on the liver. Drink it in small portions of 50 to 70 milliliters every hour to avoid overloading the liver. Caution should be exercised when using Glauber's salt, as this substance is suitable only for limited use, as advised by Normanor in his book. Magnesium sulfate draws fluid from tissues, but improper use can lead to dehydration. If you decide to use this method, take 1 teaspoon of salt dissolved in a glass of water on an empty stomach for no more than 2 consecutive days. Be sure to maintain potassium levels in your body by consuming potassium-rich foods, bananas, baked potatoes, or dried apricots. The 8th Tibetan method is based on a combination of juice consumption with an enema. A mixture of carrot and beet juice in a 4:1 ratio is not just a trendy fad. These contain betaine, which thins lymph, while carrots enrich the body with vitamin A, promoting vessel recovery. However, the use of chamomile enemas elicits mixed opinions. I recommend using them only to relieve constipation. Otherwise, the intestinal microflora may be disrupted. Conduct the procedure no more than once a week, using a cool infusion instead of a hot one. Special attention should be paid to the combination of licorice root and activated charcoal to improve the results of the procedure. This is an affordable and economical method often used in public medical institutions. Activated charcoal binds harmful substances, while licorice root helps to eliminate them from the body more quickly. However, charcoal also removes not only toxic compounds but also medications. If you are taking hormonal medications or antibiotics, it is recommended to take activated charcoal at least 2 hours before or after taking the medication. The 10th method worth considering is taking baths with baking soda. This is not the most common method, but it effectively promotes lymphatic drainage within the body. For many years, I have observed patients suffering from swelling who experience discomfort after work and a constant feeling of heaviness in their legs. They often resorted to extreme measures, ranging from fasting to using dubious detox products. However, one of the most underrated and effective methods that I recommend even to skeptics is bath salts. What is its effect? Soda dissolved in warm water creates an alkaline environment that neutralizes lactic acid accumulated in tissues due to lymph stagnation, leading to the expansion of small vessels, improved microcirculation, and enhanced toxin elimination through the skin. This natural method of cleansing often remains in the shadows, as most focus on internal cleansing. Baking soda baths are especially beneficial for mild forms of lymphedema. I remember one patient with primary lymphedema who suffered from swelling for a long time after lymph node removal. Antibiotics and compression stockings helped a little, but did not solve the problem. After a course of soda baths, changes became noticeable. The volume of her legs decreased by 4 centimeters in a month thanks to the combination of soda and light massage. Soda helps to thin lymph, reducing its viscosity, while the warmth of the water promotes its drainage. As a result, this procedure significantly activates the restorative processes in the body. How should this procedure be performed? First, it is necessary to prepare the solution. For a standard bath at a temperature of 37 to 38 degrees Celsius, about 200 to 300 grams of baking soda is required. It is important not to use technical soda, as it contains